My name is David Harrison Greis. Welcome to the Greis Report, your unfiltered daily voice for truth. Last night, whoo, that felt wonderful. All that hope, all that joy. It was a beautiful showing. We flipped Virginia. How cool is that? We flipped Virginia to blue. That's amazing. We had a lot of other good races. Mamdani won New York. Prop 50 passed. New Jersey, obviously, Mikey Sherrill won. Democrat. So we had like a full-on blue wave last night, and we need to carry that momentum to 2026 because everything is getting worse. So this morning I came across something that broke my heart. So I have a master's degree in special education, as I've mentioned before. I've worked in the school systems, and I currently work with kids, right? So to see this was like a shot through the heart for me. The ICE Gestapo and CBP Gestapo, they broke into a school or barged into a school in Chicago. It's called Rayito de Sol Daycare and Preschool in Chicago. And I'm going to show you the video in a second, but just brace yourself because they actually went into a building where kids were learning to disrupt the school day and disrupt learning for these kids to drag out a teacher who didn't do anything wrong. A teacher. Watch. If you want to know why I constantly talk about the ICE Gestapo special military forces and secret military forces, it's because of this. This is what's going to happen to all of us. They're not going to stop at immigrants and activists. They're going to come for everybody in the end. And that is their goal. Because if you watch the tirade that Donald Trump threw last night on Truth Social regarding the elections, I think you get a sense of what's coming from him because he's going to double down on everything. If you like what you're hearing tonight, please remember to like, subscribe, and down here we have an email address, thegreisreport@gmail.com. Again, that's thegreisreport@gmail.com. Please send us any tips, leads, story requests, any video that you have with the ICE Gestapo, CBP Gestapo, or any of the other special forces that are out there right now, or secret forces, National Guard, any of them. And most importantly, please do subscribe to our channel, share these videos with your friends. Let's get the news out there so people know what's really going on because the mainstream media is not covering most of this anymore. Now, to add insult to injury, Marimar Martinez, you remember her. She's the one who got shot by the Gestapo in Chicago. They cornered her on the road, slammed into her car. Well, she was due in court this week to defend herself against their abuses. And guess what? They couldn't even hold the trial or the hearing because the CBP Gestapo that claimed the car that they claimed she hit, they moved it 1,000 miles away to Maine. They moved the evidence. They moved the evidence. Now there's absolutely no way for them to make their case because there was never a case to begin with. If you leave the scene of the crime and you take the evidence with you, that's a huge problem. That shows intent. They intended to hide this. They intended to hide the truth. And that's a problem. That shows their evilness and their sickness and their cancerousness to our society. And on top of that, yet another U.S. citizen, because Marimar Martinez was a citizen, Berenice Garcia Hernandez of Oregon, Gresham, Oregon, she's also a U.S. citizen. She's part of a rapid response team just like me. We go out there, we get alerts for when the ICE Gestapo is nearby. We go out, we take pictures, we find support, we get names and numbers. We try to get out to the notes out to the families, telling them what happened so they could track them down, all that kind of stuff, right? So we're actually trying to help the victims. And this is really disturbing because they followed her from the scene. So She took pictures, videos, and then left. She didn't heckle them. She didn't harass them. She left. They followed her. They encircled her. They hit her car. They trapped her in. They broke her windows, dragged her out, beat her, and then took her to that black site in Portland, Oregon that they claim isn't holding anybody. This is what they're doing to people who are simply taking pictures of their vehicles. That's it. They're coming for people who are protesting. They're coming for people who are talking about this online. They're even threatening New York City now because Zoran Mamdani won. Now, New York City is one of the most important cities in the country because we have a lot of the financial businesses here in New York. Now, I'm not one to defend billionaires in Wall Street, but it would behoove Donald Trump to not mess with New York City just because of that. If he destroys New York or attempts to mess with New York and it interrupts our city economy, it's going to interrupt the entire country's economy, nay, the world's economy, and that's going to be bad for everybody. But the good thing is, we have momentum, and we need to hold on to that and make a blue wave, blue tsunami come over America in 2026. So they know we're not messing around. Senators, the Republican senators, they don't want to end the filibuster. Trump does. Trump is starting to get pushback. This is what we need to see happen. And we need to support the people who are pushing them back, even if we don't like them. Because that's what's going to help us win this war. And Mike Johnson, I know it's like day 35, going on day 36 of the shutdown. You still haven't sworn Adelita Grijalva. You're still protecting your boss from the Epstein files. You're still getting out there. And you know what? I actually saw a video of you today. You were a little less know-nothing than usual, which tells me that your intent is to protect your boss. Have a heart. Have a soul. Grow a pair of balls. And tell the truth. Swear on Adelita Grijalva. Release the Epstein files. And let's take our country back from the jaws of fascism. My name is David Harrison Greis. Thank you for joining the Resistance and have a great night.